Well, I guess, Coach, obviously it's recruiting season. You guys, with your transfers, have back-to-back national top 10 recruiting classes. What do you think has been the big key that's led to your recruiting success?
I got a wonderful staff, and we're beating the phones down, and when guys come available, we're trying to get in front of their parents and whoever's their representative, and we're doing all the necessary things to get them to campus and close the deal. And this has been a great summer for us in terms of recruiting. And again, I give a lot of credit to my staff and them getting me in front of the people that we're trying to recruit, the player, and this, we're starting to pay off. It's starting to pay off for us. So.
And obviously, Mackenzie Mbako is the latest guy who is either a Jordan Brand or McDonald's, All-American. You guys are recruiting at a pretty high level now. You become attractive to top level guys. What has made IU, in your mind, attractive to the top level guys?
Well, back in the day, it was always that way. And when I took the job, I made it clear to my coaches that we deserve to sit at the table with the best players, and we kind of squabbled a little bit early on because they didn't think we were in that position to be able to do that, and I thought we were, based on Indiana basketball and the history of it. So I didn't accept no for an answer, and I told them that I wanted to be able to sit at the table with the best players and compete with the Kentuckys, the Kansas, the Dukes, teams like that, and all they can do is tell us no. But we got to get there, and we've been able to get there some. So it's kind of nice.
You still got one spot open for next season. I know you can't talk specifically about players you're recruiting, but do you feel good with what you have, or do you think there's maybe a need to get another player?
I mean, we always are looking. Based on a lot of the players tonight that might pull out, there might be a player that falls through the cracks, and I'm watching it closely, and I'm always looking to better our team, and if we can pick up someone based on who falls through the crack, then we'll pursue it and see what happens.
Coach, the name I keep hearing on the recruiting trail is Jalen Hood-Schifino. What do you think his one-and-done season did for you as a staff when it comes to recruiting?
It's done a lot. When you think about when we recruited him, when I first saw Jalen, it was very early on, and when I first saw him, I turned to Kenyon and Yah, and I said, hey, I got to have that guy. And they're like, Coach, relax, man. We got a lot of players we got to see this summer. I said, no. He just reminded me of Jason Kidd. There was some overtone there. He's not Kidd, but there was some overtone there. And I knew the time that I spent with Kidd was special. And I just thought the kid could do a lot of things. And not to say he was a one and done, but he put himself in that position and was able to do a lot of nice things for our ball club. And, our program benefited from it. And it didn't hurt that he was a five-star player coming in.
Mike, Trace was such a foundational player for the program for 4 years. He's not going to be there this year. How will your style of play be different, you think, as the way it's been the last 2 years?
Well, I'll tell you guys, the fact that Trace was already established and he made the commitment to come back, it made it a little easier for me because he had already posted 2 seasons of 18, 19, 20 points a game, and pretty much double-digit in rebounding. I've never coached a low-post player. I coached Melo and Amari, but they could step out and make shots and do a lot of other different things from a talent standpoint. So, in coaching Trace, it was a venture for us as a staff in terms of trying to put him in the best position possible to not only be successful, but to help us win. And, you know, we started letting him handle the basketball a little bit more and doing some things outside the box that probably he wasn't used to doing. And he became great at it. You know, we let him initiate our break. You know, he rebounds and he pushes it out, and guys get out and they try to run, and he reward them with passes and things of that nature. So, I mean, there are a lot of things that I started implementing because, again, it was new for me with the guy with his back against the bucket and giving him the ball and trying to design things to get him the basketball. So I don't have that anymore, you know, coming into this season. And I can pretty much go back to my comfort zone, you know, and how we somewhat played in New York, which we kind of spread the floor. And you know, that's not to say our bigs, if, you know, I got mismatches and our bigs are early running, you know, I expect them to try to post and get early strikes that way. And we try to get easy buckets, you know, right off our initial thrust. But it's going to be a little bit different, you know. I mean, I got really 7 new players, and I got to figure it out in terms of, you know, how we're going to play, who can do what. And so I'm kind of anxious to see, you know, come this next week. You know, a lot of the guys are coming back this weekend, and, you know, getting them in the gym and see who can do what.
Where does it start with those new guys in terms of not only what they're able to do on the floor, but to build the chemistry that you need off the floor as well? What part do you play in trying to create that?
Oh, I play a major part. You know, I think once we get them all assembled in Bloomington, then I'll set the groundwork in terms of what I expect. Don't know the style of play in terms of, you know, exactly where we're going to go as a team, but got a pretty good idea. But, you know, I got to see it on the floor. I got to put them in different combinations and just see who can do what. And so this summer will be a major trial for our ball club and our program in terms of trying to put the guys in the best position possible to help us win when we start next season.
So, just talking a little bit, you talked about life after Trace and reaching back 2-time in New York, I imagine Atlanta as well. What, it feels like with a team that maybe's got more length, particularly 3, 4, 5, than what you've had, more reach, more wingspan. What do you think that will do for maybe the way you tweak some things at either end of the floor?
Well, it will definitely help us defensively. You know, in Atlanta, I caught a lot of hell early on when we built that team. It was basically 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" players. And I can go down the list of players, and everybody was like, well, why, you know, I think you got to always build a defensive system first and then figure it out offensively. And, you know, and that's what we did in Atlanta. We switched a lot, you know, and became a pretty good defensive team. I caught a lot of hell for our team switching, and hell, now everybody switches. You know, I'm not saying I set the stage for it, but I look at high school, I look at AAU ball, I look at college, I look at the pros. Everybody switches, and then basically force you into making a decision based on the switch. So, yeah, we were kind of on to something, and I thought it helped us. So, you know, the fact that we've added, you know, a 7-footer, a 6'10" guy, a 6'8", 6'8" guy, I mean, that helps us defensively when we do switch, and it helps us at the rim, it helps us rebounding. I mean, a lot of things that come along with, you know, adding longer, athletic, and rangy guys on your team, I think.
Last question, Jim.
Coach, you talked about how Jalen Hood-Schifino's one-and-done season helped in recruiting. What's the feedback you're hearing on both of these guys, and then how much more benefit is it going to get when both of those guys get drafted?
Well, I mean, the key is only time will tell. You know, you're hearing both guys could possibly go in the first round. That would be huge for our program, and they deserve to be in the first round. I mean, I look at what Trace has done over the body of work that he's put in over the 4 years at Indiana is unbelievable, and never made it through. Think about that. And Jalen has just come in and basically, after X got hurt, you know, there was a lot of grumblings amongst you guys because you guys thought, well, hell, where they gonna go. Race got hurt, around the same time, and Jalen just kind of, he kind of hung in there, man, and he rode that ship with us, man, and everybody just kind of did their part, and we kind of regrouped and found ourselves again. And you got to give that kid a lot of credit, because that's a freshman kid that's been thrown to the wolves, man. And when you talk about dealing with the Big Ten, man, but I thought he answered the bell extremely well, and he's put himself in a nice position to be able to get drafted, and that's great for our program.
Mike, how does it feel post-surgery to stand 6'5" again?
Hey, guys, hey, listen, I'm so blessed to even be standing here, because I went through a tough time, and I was still working, guys. When you guys thought, well, why am I having knee surgery during recruiting time? I had no choice, because I put it off all these years and struggled to get around. So I feel like a new man. If you ask me, will I do it all over again? I don't know if I would or not, because I had some complications and had to go back into the hospital for some time. So lost a lot of weight, starting to get it back, but I feel 100% better, and I think I can probably outrun you now. I can run a little bit now.
Baby.
My right knee, yeah.
Did you get a replacement?
Yeah, I had it replaced. Yeah.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you.